I wanted to surprise me. That's amazing.
Have you been all right all weekend?
Yeah, been amazing. Why?
You've had these red marks.
It's still there.
Are you still been boxing or?
No, it's periorbital dermatitis.
I wanted to ask what's wrong with your eyes.
Periorbital dermatitis.
Sounds like a space condition.
Yeah, a few people have asked, and I appreciate it. Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. It's like super itchy and irritating. Tried everything to get rid of it, like fasting, gallbladder flushes, everything. But I am curious because it came up 8 years ago, was present for about almost 2 years. Yeah. Tried everything under the sun, and then one day it just resolved. And then 6 weeks ago it came back. But I'm not sure.
If you don't address what's going on mentally and emotionally for somebody, at best, the term I use is you're going to be the greatest version of your limited self.
What do you see in this? Because
Fire.
Because I had
got a big fire in balance.
And I can't crack it.
No, mate.
I can't crack it at the moment. I'm not sure. But if you've got a perspective, I'd be all in.
Well, you're a big sensitive Sally, but there's also like a lot of trapped heat emotionally, and your body is trying to release it. And because you're a fire type, it's going to look through the channels that fire travels, which is liver, gallbladder, eyes, skin, and especially in the blood.
Hence stroke, pulmonary embolisms.
There you go. Yeah. So there's just a lot of heat in your system that's asking to escape. And it's fine. It's, in one way for you, strapping guy, you don't want to have that. It doesn't look great. But, at another level, you could say your physiology is doing its job.
Yeah.
But does that intuitively make sense?
Oh, absolutely it does. And it's kind of interesting because every year I have a theme.
Yeah.
And this year's the year of relationships.
I love it.
I went through a separation 2.5 years ago from my ex-wife. We're still best of friends.
Awesome.
I'm sure there's still some, because there was an ideal, because I grew up, parents separated when I was 6 months old. So I waited till I was 36, 37, 38 to invest into a relationship because I was like, I'm going to do this once and I want to get this right because I want to give myself that which I did not have. But I'm starting to sense that this is related to hurt in relation to connection and relationships.
Yeah.
And me being afraid of actually allowing myself to open up and be vulnerable to intimacy and love.
Yeah. Amazing, mate. Beautiful, right? But there's a couple of things, even the way you speak, which point to what I'm sharing with you is the trap, right?
Yep.
So parents separate you 6 months. So even in the way that you described your reaction to that, there's a lot of judgment. You even said the words like, I want to only do this once because I want to do it right.
Right, yeah.
So what's implied in that as a subtext about your childhood? If you're trying to get it right, what are you saying?
My childhood wasn't right.
So now, however old you are, how old are you?
44.
44. So you got over 4 decades of judgment. Think about that. That's a lot to carry. 44 years worth of judgment is a huge amount of friction which generates a massive amount of heat and hurt. You feel something in your heart? Yeah, beautiful. So what if you could right now with me collapse 4.5 decades of judgment into complete surrender and acceptance?
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Now, I love the fact you're willing to go there and I can see it already behind your eyes. I'm going to ask you a question. You can only answer yes or no. Was it wrong that your parents separated when you were 6 months?
No.
Say it again. Was it wrong that your parents separated when you were 6 months?
No.
Have you had it prior to my questioning that it was wrong?
Yes.
What was being the expense to you emotionally of looking back at that as though what happened wasn't what was supposed to happen?
I've lived in fear.
Yeah.
Fear of relationships.
Yeah. And what else?
Intimacy. Just fear of being hurt.
Yeah. What else?
Fear of abandonment.
Yeah. What else?
Fear of, never being enough.
Yeah. And you said that you're only going to do it once because you want to
Get it right.
So if you're wanting to get it right, what are you fear of?
Being wrong.
Feel the pressure of that. 4.5 decades of trying not to do it wrong. 4.5 decades of fear that if you found intimacy, it would go. Now you're feeling it, right? And you wonder why you had a hole in your heart. Right? This is beautiful, mate. This is going to help so many people. And it's only because of a psychological relationship to a history that you're looking as shouldn't have been the way it was. I want you to consider you wouldn't be here today, you wouldn't be having this conversation with me if it weren't for the fact that your parents separated when you were 6 months. And for that reason, not only is it not wrong, it's actually a blessing. It is precisely what was supposed to happen. Why? Because it's what happened. Now, if people will take one thing from this whole podcast, it's that statement, they will find peace and complete reconciliation with everything that's happened in their history. Was your parents' separation at 6 months wrong?
No.
In the absence of that judgment of that event, what becomes available to you? Realizing it wasn't wrong, not only was it not wrong, it's exactly what was supposed to have happened, for which reason you are a very blessed man because of the difference you're making in people's lives right now. What becomes available to you in the absence of all judgment, 4.5 decades of judgment? How do you feel right now if that's gone?
Light. I feel, tingling.
Yeah, there's a softness, there's a peace. I would assert that anything that's going on in your eyes, that will dissipate. To what degree, I don't know. But the more you feel into this peace, surrender, acceptance, the more that friction, that judgment, that excess heat just dissipates. Because this is, I've got to get it right. This is pressure. This is judgment. See the tension? And it's throughout your body. I've helped people who've had sexual abuse to, obviously parents separating at a young age is very common, but, feeling like they're the unwanted stepchild or the kid who wasn't as successful, athletic, or intelligent as their sibling or whatever it is that then became the precursor to their own feelings of inadequacy, all of which is completely and utterly unnecessary because it's fabricated. So beyond, is there anything wrong with the fact that your parents separated when you were 6 months? I'm going to ask you another question. Is there anything wrong with you?
No.
What does that feel like?
It feels good.
Yeah. Whatever happened 5 seconds ago, 5 decades ago, is precisely what was supposed to happen. Why? Because it's what happened. And for you to find the peace and acceptance with that, you'll be a different human being.
Yeah.
Mate, well, I don't want to be leading the witness, but I think your eyes are already getting better.
I was just going to say, they actually are not itching.
Western medicine in acute cases, emergencies, phenomenal, right? But for these chronic conditions, to me, such a disservice to human beings because they're not interested in root causes, they're interested in managing symptoms, right? It's a disease care system, it's not a healthcare system.
Okay, so we're about 3.5 hours out from the healing I just had with Peter Crone. As you can see, I was sitting over there, it was quite an epic healing. We'll do a contrast shot, looking all pretty. It's not even itchy anymore. And I've been trying to treat this naturally for the last 3-4 weeks now. It's going down. It's actually...
It's definitely less.
Looking at the later, looking at the eyes, obviously the redness is still there, but it's nowhere near as raised. It's not itching, it's not glowing hot.
What do you credit it to? No, but actually.
Wow. I credit it to the release of energy that was provoked by Peter, clearly. But I've got to say it feels completely different.
I wanted to surprise me. We wanted to do the big reveal.
You want to do the reveal?
That's amazing.
You're kidding, right?
Wow.
You notice the difference?
Oh yeah, night and day.
Yeah.
Apart from just the discoloration, it's like I could see the heat. I could see the irritation. Just
all I wanted to do in that interview, I was just busting to just scratch and
Yeah,
scratch
yeah,
and scratch
yeah.
and scratch and
Isn't
scratch.
that amazing?